3 days later. Liuruyan took her sister's temporary assistant, carrying large bags and small papers, and stood in front of the dormitory door of the Dream Chaser competition area under the sun. Liuruyan was carrying a small bag on her back, and her assistant was holding a medium-sized suitcase in her hand. The two of them stood by the door, gaping at a thin girl in front of her. She was carrying a small girl with Liuruyan in her hand. Liuruyan lifted the two big suitcases with a groan and carried them all the way upstairs. Liuruyan and her assistant looked at each other and looked down at the small suitcase at hand, both looking embarrassed. Until there was another girl in front of her who was thinner than her, carrying her suitcase upstairs and taking a surprised look at the assistant beside Liuruyan. Liuruyan finally swallowed a little, turned around and smiled dryly at the assistant. How about you go back first? There were so many people, men and women, but she seemed to be the only one who brought an assistant. Apparently, the assistant was also aware of the problem. She looked down in embarrassment, then looked at Liuruyan's small body, and asked uncertainly, "Little boss, can you be alone?" Okay. Liuruyan gritted her teeth and took the box from the assistant's hand. Anyone can do it. The little girl turned her back, waved her hands slowly and solemnly twice, dragged the box to the bottom of the stairs, took a deep breath, held the handle of the box with both hands, and lifted it suddenly. His face instantly turned red, he staggered, and almost fell over. Assistant. The assistant stood at the door of the stairs with a worried look on his face, watching his little boss leaning forward and backward, dragging the small suitcase up the stairs, and stretched one hand forward slightly in a dramatic manner. Writing a letter of retention is like an old mother sending her daughter to college. Fortunately, before she could take 2 steps, a young man wearing a white sportswear came up behind her. The two exchanged a few words. The girl shook her head in seriousness and refused, even leaving a free hand to show the other person that maybe there was something on her arm. After showing the non-existent muscles, the box was successfully picked up by the boy. Then Liuruyan stood on the stairs, looking at the boy with a headband in confusion as he climbed up the stairs with a box in each hand. Liuruyan. She looked back at the assistant who was left outside, with despair on her face, feeling that all her years of rice had been in vain. The assistant's outstretched hand waved back and forth to her twice. Liuruyan sighed slightly, lowered her head, and followed the boy who was pulling his suitcase upstairs. The organizer has abundant funds this time, and the dormitories prepared for the players can be called luxurious, high-end residential areas, single-family houses, 2 rooms on 1 floor, facing each other, and 2 people live in each room. Liuruyan's house is on the top floor. The boy pulled her suitcase up the short flight of stairs in front of the elevator and returned it to her. He bared his small white teeth and greeted her, "Hello, my name is Ji." Liuruyan nodded gratefully to him. Hello, my name is Liuruyan, thank you for helping me bring my luggage." The girl thanked the boy in front of her seriously. Her eyes were big, bright and soft, and she looked at the little boy with admiration. "Arms not much thicker than mine." Even bowed. Ji was embarrassed by her. He touched his head, thought for a while, and asked uncertainly, "Are you here to compete too?" Liuruyan nodded, yes. Ji was surprised when he heard her answer, and then touched the back of his head embarrassedly, smiled shyly, "It doesn't look like that. The girl's temperament is soft and clean, with no offensive power. She doesn't look like someone who will participate in a talent show." When these words fell on Liuruyan's ears, what she was thinking was, how did he find out? Is the idea of just messing around on your own so obvious? Did you find out after helping her carry her luggage? Her luggage is too small. Not grand enough? Does it have to be a box that weighs as much as a strong man like the young lady just now? She sniffed guiltily, and with a sense of embarrassment about being seen through, she pulled her suitcase into the elevator. When Liuruyan opened the dormitory door with the suitcase, there was already someone inside, a tall and thin girl, wearing black solid-color short sleeves and jeans, sitting on the sofa, holding a book in her hand. Seeing her come in, he closed his book and stood up. "There are 2 rooms, you choose first." A calm female voice, a calm person. Liuruyan shook her head quickly, No, I can live in any room. You came first, so you choose first." When the girl heard what she said, she didn't argue with her anymore. She said, and dragged her over. His suitcase casually entered a room near her side. So cool. Liuruyan sighed silently while dragging his suitcase into another room. He closed the door, placed the box horizontally on the floor, unlocked it, and unfolded it gently. The girl took out a few books from the box and stacked them neatly on the bedside. Turning around, he lowered his head and continued to rummage. After a while, he took out 3 plates of Yakult from under his clothes. She thought about it for a moment, put down the 2 boards, carried the other board and left the room happily. After leaving the room, she walked to the opposite door, knocked politely twice, and asked softly, "Can I come in?" There was a response from inside. When Liuruyan pushed the door open and walked in, the person inside was sitting on the bed reading the book just now. Seeing her coming, he put his long legs away and sat up straight. Liuruyan held her little Yakult like a baby and walked into the room. She happened to see the other person moving his legs off the bed, that length. Liuruyan seriously thought about whether her legs were half as long as the other person's. Fortunately, she has lived abroad all year round and has seen many long-legged ladies. She has become indifferent to the fact that she is a woman, but her legs may not be as long as those of others. Even changing the soil and water and moving abroad could not save her height, Liuruyan thought. I can't go and set a bone. So at that moment, Liuruyan watched eagerly as the other party moved the bed legs to the ground and easily made an elegant arc. She was very ashamed and did not sit down. She took 2 steps closer and handed the Yakult in her hand to the other party. Smiled and said, "Hello, Liuruyan." The other party's eyes were fixed on the Yakult she handed out. After 3 seconds, he slowly moved to her face, took a serious look at her, took the Yakult, and said slowly, "Ji Lu." Liuruyan squinted his eyes and nodded. Ji Lu looked at the Yakult in his hand, thought for a moment, said, "Wait a minute," walked to the corner and pulled out his suitcase, opened it, and not long after, handed Liuruyan 2 large bags of Wei Long. Liuruyan. Ji Lu stuffed Wei Long into her arms very calmly, with a light scent of perfume on his wrist, a little thought. Liuruyan. The girl. He stared blankly at the woman who walked to the bed and crossed her legs again. Then he looked down at the 2 packs of spicy sticks in his arms, and suddenly felt that the spicy sticks had an elegant taste. With a complicated mood, she returned to her bedroom with 2 packs of spicy chips given by her roommate. Liuruyan checked around and confirmed that there were no cameras in the room. She then safely drew the curtains, put on her pajamas and climbed into bed. Catching up on sleep. She was pulled up early this morning and she was sleepy to death. The girl fell asleep on the pillow and slept for most of the day. When Liuruyan opened her eyelids again, it was already dark outside. The cold white moonlight shines through the glass window onto her face. "I feel my belly, I'm hungry." She took out her phone from under the pillow. The number in the center of the screen reminded her that it was almost 10 o'clock in the evening. Liuruyan stared at the spicy noodles placed beside the bed and struggled for a while. Finally, she happily decided to open the takeout app and order some spicy hot pot. After ordering, I became even hungrier. She simply fished out the 2 packets of spicy strips first, tore them open and ate while waiting. As a result, I don't know if it was because it was too late, but Liuruyan almost finished the pack of spicy sticks, and the takeaway hadn't arrived yet. She couldn't help but be a little anxious. She ordered lonko vermicelli. If the delivery boy can no longer deliver to the fans, they should be soaked. It won't taste good if it's soaked. Just when she was sincerely worried about her lonko fans, the phone rang. Liuruyan answered the call, and the delivery boy opposite spoke to her helplessly in an authentic dialect. "Girl, you are so. Where's the entrance to the community? I searched for a long time and couldn't find it." Liuruyan. "It's my first day here, brother, and I'm not familiar with it either." Liuruyan asked bravely, "Where are you now?" The little brother's voice was also very confused. "An alley? I've been walking here for almost half an hour and I still can't find the door, girl." "Half an hour? Lonko fans are going soft." She thought for a while with a grimace, and then tried to ask, "How about you find a place where people inside the building can see it, turn on the car lights, and I go down to find you?" Okay, hey, you have a big guy here. Billboard, can I stop here and wait for you? Yes. Liuruyan hung up the phone, quickly changed into pajamas, took the keys and rushed downstairs. After walking around for a few minutes, I finally found a bewildered takeaway boy not far to the right of the big iron gate. When he saw her, he asked with a grieved face, "Are you not letting me order takeaway?" Liuruyan. After sending away the takeaway boy, Liuruyan walked quickly with the hard-won spicy hot pot. Lonko fans. It won't taste good if it's soft. She jogged all the way, not paying attention to the road in the dark. As a result, when she passed the big iron gate, she suddenly bumped into someone. The spicy soup in his hand was knocked out and sprayed out of the packaging bag, perfectly splashing on the other party's black coat. Liuruyan was dumbfounded. She stayed for a few seconds, and when she came to her senses, she was about to apologize when she saw the person she bumped into was wearing a mask and sunglasses, glanced at her, and suddenly paused. The next second, the man narrowed his eyes, and a slightly blurred voice came out from the mask, "Young hooligan?" Liuruyan.